Hi, this is TradingETFs.com, and this is the ETF update for January 19th, 2016. We're starting off here with the chart of the VXX. You can see here on the short-term chart that we are still in the overbought area. You can see price is up above the 2650 level, almost reaching the $27 price range. So we're definitely at the extreme overbought area in terms of the price range and also the oscillator itself. You can see that over the last, let's say 10 trading days, we've pretty much been going sideways at the higher end of the overbought range. And this won't, it doesn't look like it's going to last very much longer. Most likely we are going to come down and get to close to this zero line. I've been saying this before. We've been waiting and waiting. We haven't got the oscillator down to the zero line. And so we've got price at the top of the range now here for 2 days. And I think we're about due for it to pull back. And let me take a look at the long-term oscillator, and we'll take a look to see where this is positioned. So you can see that we're still moving up. We had a big gap to the upside. Momentum still increasing to the upside. Price is, again, pretty close to the high of September 30th, price of 27. And so I think we're going to get a pullback. And the reason I say that is oftentimes when the price here leads the oscillator, then you are subject to get whipsawed. And from what I can see, or from what I can tell, is that the market isn't letting you in to the VXX. They're trying to suck everybody in to be able to get into the VXX right at the moment. They'll pull the plug and price will come down, catching up to or moving down to where the oscillator is. And then that would be the opportunity where we can look at the short-term oscillator to see if it's at the zero line to be able to go ahead and take a position. So I do expect that we're at the upper range, and we're probably due for a turn at any point here. I wouldn't be surprised to see if it's tomorrow, or at least the move starts tomorrow. Taking a look at another ETF, this would be the QQQs. And you can see here on the long-term chart, the oscillator is still moving down. We had a big gap down today, even though the price went sideways for the most part. We are, getting into the oversold area, but I think that we've got a lot of earnings coming out, so it's having an effect on the oscillators here, which suggests to me that we haven't stopped going down in the longer term, or on the longer term oscillator. The short term oscillator, let's take a look to see where we're at there. So again, we're oscillating at this oversold level. We're just going back and forth. In the end, we're really not going anywhere in terms of the oscillator. Prices at the lower end of the range came back. We're pretty much testing the September lows. So again, I do think that we are due for this move to the upside to finally break out of this sideways trading range on the short-term oscillator. You can see that on the short term, we did get a gap to the upside, even though price went sideways. On the long-term oscillator, once again, we had the opposite effect. We had price go sideways, long-term oscillator move down. So what this suggests to me is that we still have more room to the downside. We're not done yet. I don't see any panic. Doesn't seem like anybody's really worried at this point. So I think we have more downside to go. But in the meantime, before we can get there, we're going to have to try to alleviate some of this oversold reading here in the short-term oscillator. So again, I'm expecting us to be able to move up in price for at least a couple days to be able to alleviate the oversold position, and then we'll move right back down. The other ETF I want to take a look at is the IWM. I've been speaking about this one for a couple weeks now, and we continue to just go lower and lower in price. Today had another down day in price. Oscillator again just going sideways here. with no clear direction. We got a big gap down today, got a gap down yesterday. So I think that, again, we're going to see the market turn for a couple days to alleviate this oversold position before we start seeing more lows. I'm switching over to the long-term oscillator, and you can see here just price is lockstep with the short-term, with the long-term oscillator, hitting another low for the range. So it suggests to me that we're not done going down by any means. And let me switch over to one additional chart. And this would actually be of the VIX. And even though you can't trade the VIX, it does show that there's no panic, there's no fear out there right now in the market. You can see that our oscillator looks very similar to the VXX. Here it's still moving up, but price has exceeded the oscillator, and again you're going to get whipsaws similar to what you had here. You had price moving up way ahead of the oscillator, and you get whipsawed right back down. Same thing happened here as well. So I do expect that we're going to see some type of move back up in the market, and that'll bring the VIX index down. But what I wanted to show you is that when I compare the VIX to other points in time, you can see that back in September, when the market was collapsing, you can see the VIX, moving up substantially, and we reached the 0.27 level on the overbought reading. And if you look at today's environment, we're moving up into the overbought range, but this definitely doesn't show you any type of a panic or any type of big fear out there, which is why I'm saying that I expect to see the market continue to the downside. I do think that we're building for a move that will move us back into this range in terms of VIX price. I'm expecting somewhere in the 37, 38 price range, which means the oscillator's got room to go. And that's kind of what we're waiting for here, is for the short-term oscillator to alleviate itself so that it's no longer in the overbought area, so that we can find a better entry point to reduce the downside, because I am expecting the VIX to shoot up to the upside along with the VXX. And when I switch back over to a short-term oscillator, and I'm going to switch it back to just the 90-day chart, you can see that we are still, we're coming down. We're in the overbought area, but we're coming down. So that's what we want to see. We want to see the VIX come down in short-term oscillator. We want to see the VXX short-term oscillator come down, so that we can then go ahead and take a position and reduce some of the downside when we do that. So right now, just to sum up what I see, we're just vacillating back and forth, and everyone's waiting for the bottom. Everyone's calling for the bottom, and that usually means we're not at the bottom. We're going to get a bounce that would last a couple days, most likely just to alleviate the oversold reading in the short-term oscillators. And that's kind of what we're waiting for to set up the next set of trades. I still don't see a lot out there in terms of buys yet on any of the ETFs. We're just kind of sitting here waiting for the right setup to occur, and I will continue to update you when I see something that warrants doing another video. So take care and have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.